Moving on to features now, turning the TARDIS on and placing it on a flat surface. That is dematerialising, not What? What? Right, are you taking the... Hello YouTube and welcome to another Doctor Who 3.75 review. Today I'm going to be finally taking a look at the Spin and Fly TARDIS, but the Series 8 Mark III model. Now this is in fact my first ever 3.75 electronic TARDIS. I do have the Hyde previous version that's half dematerialising, but that isn't in fact electronic, and this is my first ever one. See, that is actually quite shocking, isn't it? For me, especially, I've been collecting them for years and I don't have one. But yeah, this one seems to be the best one out of the whole group, so I was quite happy to pick this one up at my local Forbidden Planet the other week. So yeah, here is the box itself. It's following the same Series 8 style of box of the orange and blue. Bottom we have the Doctor Who logo with Spin and Fly TARDIS and the electronic vehicle there with the Character Options logo. Then with new TARDIS interior with the red design and then spinning flight control action, how lovely. And then we have the thing displayed nicely in the box with the orange background with takeoff and landing sound effects with the reuse of that TARDIS from the Series 5 5-inch version. Taking a look at the sides, it is actually in fact practically the same layout as the original box of Doctor Who there, and the TARDIS with all these lines on it to make it look like it's travelling. Ooh, exciting. And then on the back, it is literally exactly the same to the Series 5 5-inch version. So you have takeoff, spinning and flying, and landing. How fun. So it's showing the limit amount of sound effects and things that this has compared to the other versions. And then at the bottom we have our good old company information. So that's really it for the box. It's alright, but now let's take a look at the product in more detail. But before we do that, we forgot to take a look at the very exciting instructions. We have things there. One thing that I seen was, oh look, batteries not included. This is literally the first ever Character Options product that I've bought, and the batteries do not actually come in the product itself, and they don't even give demo ones. So what is this world coming to? But yeah, I'm quite shocked at that, because every single Character Options product that I've bought has batteries in, but at least it helps us with where the batteries go. That's nice, guys. And then it also says on the back, just to show how thick their customers apparently are, of please note, Spin and Fly TARDIS does not actually fly. Thanks, guys. I bet you're going to say it doesn't travel in time either. Oh. So here we have the product itself. Now, as you can see, it actually looks really nice and like the thing that it's meant to look like, which, to be fair, isn't much of an achievement because it's a blue box. Surely even character can't screw up on this one. But yeah, here we have the thing itself. Now, this is exactly the same sculpt as the original, as expected, because it is the TARDIS. So it's exactly the same, just the paint application is a bit different. So first, taking a look at the top of the TARDIS, as you can see, they've carried on that exact same wood effect from last time, and it's practically been seen on all of the flight control TARDISes that Character Options have been produced over the years. So it has this nice blue effect with also the nice, quite simplistic effect of the wood scratching around the outside there, really giving it some nice texture. Now the roof itself is the same two-stack format as the 11th Doctor Matt Smith version, as it actually didn't change in the series itself. But as you can see, we have these little covers on each individual corner at the bottom there. And then also taking a look at that lantern at the top. Once again, it's the same sculpt as last time. We have the little pillory bit at the bottom, but then the actual lantern itself is clear with 4 blue stripes going down either corner, with also some little blue stripes going across diagonally. Now, what is really nice to see is on each individual side, the banner with Police Public Call Box on has actually been redone. And now, the actual sticker itself on the original Matt Smith version was rather stretched and blocky, and it didn't really look in scale with the actual product, which was nice. It literally looked like the 5-inch one, but then cropped down on Microsoft Paint to make it look a bit more in scale. But yeah, the nice thing is they've actually gone and reprinted this sticker, and this time it looks a lot better. Now, as you can see, Police Public Call Box has been done really well on each individual side. We have Police Public Call Box there with the black and then the white lettering on top. Yeah, this really does actually look in scale with the product, and it doesn't actually look wrong at all. Another change to the TARDIS is the windows. Now, these have had a bit of a different paint job to match that as seen in Series 8. So I do believe that this is generally a lot more accurate compared to the one seen on the 3.75 TARDIS last year. But I do believe just before this release, before Christmas, we actually seen a slight tweak to the original Matt Smith one, which had some slightly different different style of windows, but I didn't pick that one up, thank God. But yeah, the windows themselves have been really nicely done. We have the white bannering around the sides there, and then we also have this piece nicely done in the middle. But as you can see, on the grey ones especially, the white paint does run over a little bit on some of the areas. Unfortunately, it does tend to be on the actual front window. As you can see on this one, it does seem to be a little bit more crisp, but unfortunately, as we go around to the major main windows at the front, there does take a little bit of leakage at the front there. But as you can see, 4 of the windows have been done in the grey, and then 2 of the windows at the front here have been done in the white with this grain effect added on top, which is nice. And once again, both of these have been textured really nicely. Going down even more on the front, we have the pull to open sign. As you can see, once again, I do believe this has actually had, once again, a bit of a makeover compared to the original version. Once again, this has been printed on with a sticker, which has been very well done. It's been nicely done, quite straight. And then we have police telephone, free for use of public, blah, 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 blah. Yep, I do believe that's quite accurate to the series. And then we also have the additions of the St. John's ambulance sign there. Once again, this one's been done rather nicely, and it actually looks like it's been printed on, which is nice. I do believe that that has actually been printed on and is in fact not a sticker, which is nice. We do have on both of the panels, we have a small little handle on the pull to open, and then we also have the main door handle itself, which has been done in the silver paint. And then what is also nice is the tiny little addition of a Yale lock there on the bottom, which has been really nicely done, and also quite in scale with the figures as well. Once again, the sides of the box have been really nicely etched with this wood effect, and it definitely gives it a quite a nice realistic feel. And then going round to the back, we do have the battery compartment and things. Now, with this being quite a small scale, they can't really do that much about it, obviously, on the 5-inch version. They do actually have the battery compartment on the back as well, but this one has been slightly differently done. Instead of just having these two as the battery compartment, it's stretched totally across the bottom. Now, I do like the idea of putting this on the back. It is a logical step, but we do also have the speaker grill there. You know, it may have been nice if we could put that on the bottom, but then it would have muted the sound a little bit more. At the bottom, we just have the base of the TARDIS, which has been once again done in this nice grained, scratched wood effect, which is nice. Taking a look at the very bottom of the TARDIS, once again we have 4 screws in each individual corner with some company information around the sides. Then we have this piece, which is the flight cradle stuff, which I'll come on to later. Then we have the on and off button, and of course the little button there that sort of touches the floor and activates the sounds and things, but we'll also come on to that a little bit later also. Much like the 5-inch version of the TARDIS, the doors do in fact open to reveal a backdrop inside. Just needed to put a torch on because it is quite dark in there, which is one of those things I will come on to later. But as you can see, the backdrop is this time the Series 8 version. Now, this is in fact the first version of the TARDIS that we've seen so far to have the Series 8 backdrop in there. So as you can see, it's nicely done with the red and things. And as expected, this does actually go around if we just close the doors there and sort of have a peek through. This does go all the way around to the walls as well, which is nice. So you can have a few angles in there and still see the TARDIS backdrop. So another nice thing is the floor is in fact a grey colour, so it does sort of carry on that theme of the grey floor of the actual TARDIS itself. But as you can see, there is no button to actually close the doors. To close the doors, this is in fact done manually, which is a little bit easier as it does get rid of the ugly button on the floor, but in play, it is a little bit annoying, I guess, for smaller kids. But as you can see, just clicking back the doors does close it. So yeah, not so easy to close the doors very quickly, but for a collector's perspective, it doesn't have an ugly button on the floor, and it is quite easy to actually open and close, as my versions of the 5-inch TARDIS were quite a pain in the backside to keep open. Moving on to features now, turning the TARDIS on and putting it on a flat surface activates the materializing sound effect. As you can see, this sound effect is actually pretty standard, not really Series 8 related, it's just the standard sound chip that has been used since like 2006. After the materializing sound effect has played, the light does continue to pulsate a little bit for about a minute, I do remember. So yeah, that's nice, and it just sort of stays on, which is nice as well, and good for photo shoots, which I've found out. Taking it off the surface does the dematerializing sound effect. Once again, this is nice, and the light does continue, but this time it pulsates and flashes for a while, which is nice as well. And that is it for sound effects. That's right, nothing when you open the doors, which is a shame. It may be nice if they could even put a little LED in the top, but I guess with it being quite small in scale, they couldn't really do that. But yeah, that's it for sound effects, which is a little bit disappointing. Look, now this TARDIS actually comes with something. Now this is the flight cradle, and this has been issued with all of the releases except the hide TARDIS, as that's not electronic and for some reason doesn't deserve one. Here it is, it's a plastic thing, and what you do is you put this on the clip at the bottom of the TARDIS. Because this is spin and fly, the TARDIS itself isn't, because you need something to assist it. But yeah, as you can see, you do have a little hole there, which means you can turn it on and off with the cradle in place, which is nice. But then popping it on a surface, it does mean that you can sort of spin it there, but it doesn't really spin for that often, and when you do spin it too much, it does actually wobble the plastic anyway, so it's not really much of a help at all. And then if you want to do what you could do on the 5-inch version, is something like that. But yeah, it doesn't really work at all, really. It's just, yeah, if anything, it works. Right, point proven. I think it doesn't really work that well, and yeah, it's alright. At least you've tried, guys. Doing a comparison now of the previous TARDISes released by Character Options, as you can see, the new Series 8 TARDIS is in fact the most brightest blue out of all of them. It does actually stand out quite nice compared to all the others. I am quite liking the bluey colour of this one, as it does stand out, and I wasn't really so keen on the Matt Smith darker blue. But yeah, to give you an idea of what it looks like compared to the original 3.75 TARDIS, as you can see, this is what that one would have looked like. So we have the black windows and things. That just looked too plasticky and sticker-like for me. But yeah, it does sort of look a lot different. The blue is totally different and things. So if you're a fan of the new Series 8 TARDIS, I would recommend this one. And then comparing that to the 3.75 hide one, it looks a bit weird, doesn't it? But it's dematerializing, so we can forgive that. And then comparing that to the non-electronic Christmas Carol gift set version, as you can see, they do look quite similar actually in the windows in a way, but we do also have the greyer ones on this version. But yeah, it's sort of like a mix of these two really compared together, but this one's of course that lighter blue. And doing a comparison of the TARDIS next to the only Series 8 figures that have been released so far, yeah, these are the only ones, and Clara isn't technically speaking a Series 8 figure. So yeah, it does look good next to the 12th Doctor, or as good as it can be, because this Doctor looks bloody ridiculous with his stupid depressed face. And then we have the Scorvox Blitzer, which is the only Series 8 monster we've got so far, but I actually think tomorrow is the release date of the Caretaker Doctor and the Mummy Foretold, so I guess when I get them, I will review them. That'll be fun, won't it? But one thing that I'd just like to end on is how small the classic Daleks are compared to the TARDIS. Now, this is absolutely ridiculous. It's like, they're just above the... Since when were Daleks this small? What is the scale problem here? This is ridiculous. I never realised how bad it was before this point, but this classic Dalek is literally tiny, and they're meant to be in scale with each other. This Dalek should be up here, I do believe, not down there. So overall for this product, it is alright, I guess. It's a TARDIS, you know, it's got the dematerializing sound and the materializing sound, which is the main focus for the TARDIS, I guess. But it would have been nice to have a few bonus features in there, if they could fit the computery stuff in to make it be able to have that weird whizzy sound like the 5-inch version, or even an interior sound when you open the doors. That might have been a nice feature as well, but I guess the sheer tiny size of this may have not been able to make that possible. But yeah, I guess the light feature is nice as well, and to be quite frankly, I'm happy to see any electronics in the scale of these products these days. So yeah, it might have been nice to see a few extra features in there just to sort of fill it out a bit more to make it worth that price tag of $12.99. But yeah, if you like the TARDIS, it is nice along with the other figures. I didn't get a TARDIS up until this point, and I'm happy I waited until this one, as overall I do think that this one looks the general better release. The detail is nice and hardly anything has been lost compared to the original version, but one thing that may have been nice to see is maybe having the pull to open door actually openable. That might have been a nice feature, but once again, maybe not possible down to the sheer size of this product. But yeah, unfortunate, isn't it? So yeah, thanks for watching this review. If you've enjoyed it, please do give it a big like, and please subscribe if you're not already. If you have any questions about this product or anything else, please do leave them below, but I'll be sure to answer them at some point in the near future. Thanks again for watching, and I shall see you all next time. So yeah, thanks for watching, and bye for now.